All right, y'all, in this video, we're gonna be going over PAILs rails, progressive angular isometric loading, regressive angular isometric loading, how to set ourselves up for success, what to avoid, same thing with the cars, avoiding pain, and what that may look like, right? So as far as what PAILs rails means, when we put any joint through a range of motion, there's gonna be a progressive side and a regressive side, right? So the progressive side is the side that's being stretched, let's say. It's where the angle is progressing in size, and then the regressive size is where the regressive angle, is where the angle is shortening and the tissue is coming together, right? Same thing with our cars, is that we don't want to feel pain in the regressive angle. So if we're setting ourselves up in, say, a modified pigeon, where we are targeting the back of the hip, there's a difference between the progressive side feeling a deep sensation and a very uncomfortable stretch, and the regressive side, which is going to be more so like the hip crease and the groin area, feeling a pinchy sensation or a pain sensation. That's something that we want to avoid. As far as how to execute a PAILs rails, we passively get ourselves into a position, and whichever side is being stretched, we hang out in that stretch for upwards to 2 minutes. After that 2 minutes, we engage the musculature that is being stretched, PAILs, and then rails. We're engaging the progressive angle first isometrically, right? And then we ramp up from 10%, 20, 30, 40, all the way up to 100% safest max effort. Hold that for 10 to 15 seconds. After that 10 to 15 seconds, we immediately switch into our regressive angle isometric engagement to 100% safest max effort. Hold that for 10 to 15 seconds. I'm gonna set myself up here into the sleeper stretch to show you what I mean. And yeah, let's get started. So using the sleeper stretch as an example, just a reminder for everyone, arm is directly out in front of us. Shoulder is gonna wanna shoot out from underneath us. So we use our top arm to press ourselves up and get our shoulder underneath our body, trying to pin the back of the shoulder and the scapula, right? So that being said, you can use your top leg or your legs. You can position them however you want for stability. You can just stay in this hook lying position. We're gonna bend the elbow, trying to keep a 90-degree bend at that elbow, right? And then we're gonna go into internal rotation using our opposite hand placed on top of the wrist and passively put us into an internal rotation stretch. We're looking for a 7, 8 out of 10 on the back of the shoulder, maybe a little bit in the side, because the back of the shoulder there is the progressive angle. The armpit area is going to be the regressive angle. If you're feeling pinchiness in here, you may need to set up in a different way or come on out altogether, right? So again, holding and maintaining this 90-degree angle at the elbow. You can think about your forearm and your hand angled towards your groin or belly button to try and keep that 90-degree angle, because as we hang out in the stretch, your elbow is going to want to drift away, whether you're hanging out in the stretch passively, ramping up, or flipping it, your elbow is going to want to drift, right? So again, the first third of the PAILs rails is just properly finding that 8 out of 10 stretch or deep sensation in the capsule and hanging out passively for upwards to 2 minutes. Again, my shoulder joint that I'm targeting isn't doing anything. It's just passively hanging out, and this top hand is pulling me into my end range to where I feel that 8 out of 10 stretch. If you're almost there, if you feel like you're in the right position and you're not quite feeling it, you're feeling like a 5, 6 out of 10, something you can do is just maintain position and use your torso to rotate into the stretch a little bit. That could deepen it. Or if you feel like you're already rotated and it's really intense, you can kind of rotate away from the hand. So hanging out here for 1 to 2 minutes, the longer the better, so upwards to 2 minutes. The PAILs portion, again, since we're going into internal or passively in internal rotation, I'm going to isometrically engage into external rotation. So bottom arm is externally rotating into the top hand. The top hand is meeting its resistance so that it's not actually going anywhere. So this is a concentric. Isometric is engaging and not moving anywhere, right? So we're gonna ramp up from 10% all the way up to 100% isometrically, moving in this direction. So external rotation, hand is engaged to where it wants to go towards the head, but the top hand is not moving it. And then when we flip it, top hand stays where it's at, and then we're gonna go 100% max effort, internal rotation, making sure our elbow doesn't track away from us, going towards the belly button, going towards the waist, going towards the groin for 15 seconds. And that is it. So hopefully you've been hanging out in your internal rotation stretch passively this whole time. Now we're gonna ramp up. So I'm going to make sure I'm in proper position. I'm going to externally rotate from the shoulder so that my hand drives into the top hand. Top hand is meeting its resistance, so it's not going in anywhere isometric at 10% effort. 20%, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% safest max effort for 15. 12, 11, 10. 5, drive, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top hand stays where it's at, 100% max effort, internally rotate, keeping the elbow at 90 degrees, driving through the shoulder, internal rotation as hard as you can, driving that forearm and hand towards that belly button waist for another 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Should feel no pain, just deep sensation. 2, 1. Relax the shoulder, top hand catches the bottom wrist in its new end range. Hold for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Something you can do to follow up with this is just axillary rotations. Just got a good crack on my shoulder. Back and forth. Once you hit your end range, drive another 10% to see if you can get a little further. Even if you have more end range on external rotation in the back of your hands hitting the ground, just drive into the ground at 10%. And rinse, wash, and repeat on the other side. Be sure to follow up all of your PAILs rails that you do throughout your body with whatever PAILs rails you did on the shoulder, hip, whatever it may be, with CARs. All right?